Number one is Dostoevsky's style of writing and the character, like our discovery of the character depth through action and dialogue. I love that he masterfully develops or fleshes out his characters by revealing their personalities, motivations, and contradictions through their words and actions. This approach makes the narrative feels really, really rich, and it creates this multi-dimensional character list that they mirror real human complexities. By not overtly exposing their inner thoughts, Dostoevsky invites us to interpret and empathize with their struggles, and it makes even the supporting characters feel integral to the story. Their flaws and their virtues kind of coexist, and it emphasizes the duality of human nature, and it evokes both admiration and discomfort. This style of exploring the characters underscores the essence of humanity, like imperfect, dynamic, and deeply relatable. None of the characters feel like supporting characters, is the point I'm trying to make, and I'm deeply impressed by that. So when I first started reading the book, I made this list. I typed out this list. So red are the supporting characters. By some time, maybe a little halfway over the book, I realized that it kind of just blurred in my mind. They're all main characters to me. They're all important to the story. They don't feel like plot devices. And that is immensely, that's something. That's really something. And then another thing, the second thing that I find very interesting and I think very fitting to bring up in the context of somebody who might be interested in reading this book. When I was done, I read through the notes in the back. Where is it? It's right here. And so at the end of this book, there are different references to historical accounts of things that happened within the time setting that this story takes place in. There's also sayings and sentences in foreign languages like German and French that are then translated in this reference list. The interesting part is the term holy fools. I don't know, I find it very compelling. So according to what I've read, this is a religious motive, and this is a title popular in Russian Orthodoxy. It's often seen in that. And the title, The Idiot, resonates with this archetype. It's also used in broader religious traditions. So Prince Myshkin, with his unworldly innocence and often described as Christ-like, like Jesus Christ, Christ-like compassion, embodies this motive. The fool, challenges societal norms not through rebellion or violence, but through radical purity and humility. And this, in turn, exposes the moral bankruptcy of those that are around him. Dostoevsky critiques society's inability to value such a quality by equating Myshkin's rejection to humanity's dismissal of divine grace. This theme it provokes reflection on whether spiritual transcendence is achievable in a world dominated by materialism and ego. And still relevant to this point that I've just mentioned, I really, 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 really like the exploration of the theme human purity versus society's corruption. People describe this book as a good person and what happens to them in society, or a kind person, but these are like very two-dimensional parts of a spectrum. So instead of using that term, I chose to use the word purity. Myshkin's portrayal aligns with, if you've ever heard Jean-Jacques Rousseau, his philosophy that humans are innately good but corrupted by society. Myshkin's innocence and selflessness are not merely moral virtues, but a critique of the societal structures that foster greed, vanity, cruelty, and dishonesty. Myshkin's eventual downfall suggests that modern society cannot sustain or tolerate such purity, as it disrupts the established order, and invites the hope of fostering collective empathy and humility and compassion, and that in doing this we could nurture these Christ-like qualities. A rebuttal might argue that purity, while admirable, needs to adapt to survive within the complexities of society, suggesting that there should be a balance between innocence and pragmatism. This balance would allow purity to influence society without succumbing to its corrupting forces, which is what Hobbes believed. Thomas Hobbes says that man is born evil, but society sort of conditions or teaches them to be good. It's a profound meditation on humanity's paradox and the way that we yearn for purity, we yearn for such untouched, raw human innocence, but we shun it when it confronts us. Myshkin's tragedy reveals that true goodness is a lot like light in a dark room. It's too blinding for us if we're accustomed to shadows. And it invites us to ask, not whether society can sustain such a quality that Myshkin has, but whether we as individuals have the courage to embrace it. Foolish, radiant, and unapologetically human that it is. And maybe the greatest wisdom in this lies in choosing to be just a little foolish for the sake of goodness. Choosing to be a little bit of an idiot for the sake of being good to others. I would give this a solid 5 out of 5. This was such a good book. Big hearts. Get it and read it.